Betting on sports can be hard, but hiring Morgan & Morgan is easy. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. They have over 100 offices nationwide and more than 1,000 lawyers. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/bestbets or dial #law, #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/bestbets. This is a paid advertisement.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We are live downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. And every Tuesday at this time, we kick off this hour talking college football with professional sports bettor Paul Stone. You can follow him on X at Paul Stone Sports, and he is on the Progressive Guest Line. Good afternoon, Paul. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Oh, doing well, guys. Got these bowl games about to crank up en masse. So a beautiful time of the year for those of us who enjoy college football.
No doubt. Before we get into your new plays for this week and beyond, can you refresh the audience of what you gave out last week and how you're feeling about those plays as of today?
Well, one of the games I gave out's the first playoff game on Friday, December 20th, gave out Notre Dame -7.5, which was the line at the time last week. If you didn't play it at 7.5, there's some 7 available now. So that's certainly more attractive than 7.5. I like Notre Dame over Indiana. That's probably my most favorite play in the first round of the playoffs. So certainly can still side with the Irish then there. And then in the other, one of the games on Saturday, I have 2 plays in the same game, that being the Clemson-Texas game Saturday afternoon in Austin. Last week, I gave out Clemson +11 and the under 52. Certainly, I like the total more than the Clemson side, but feel good about the total. Texas got a great defense. I think the best defense in the nation. The Longhorns, though, have struggled in their red zone offense, had some difficulties there scoring touchdowns, only 21 points in regulation on average their last 4 games. So like the under there, but I think Clemson can keep it within single digits as well. So recommended, still like both those, the under or the total more than the side, but Clemson +11 and then under 52.
All right, so you've also added a play here, and this is one that you like, and you're going to advise betting for the audience as well. It's another total here, first round of the playoffs, Ohio State and Tennessee. What do you want to do with that number?
Well, I'm going to look at the total here as well, and mostly 46.5, but you've got 47 there at Circa and some other places market wide. I know some sharp money bet on Tennessee supposedly earlier this week, plus the points, but I'm conflicted on the side, don't have a strong opinion there. But I like the total. I like this game to go under, and it is a relatively low total, but I think both of these coaching staffs know what they have at quarterback. They've got to be conservative. I mean, against Michigan, Will Howard, Ohio State's quarterback, throws 1 interception deep in his own territory, leads to a Wolverine touchdown. And then his other interception was deep in Michigan territory, prevented a potential Ohio State score. So those 2 interceptions were very punitive for the Buckeyes. Howard has now thrown 33 career interceptions, has an interception rate of 3%, which is extremely high for a college football quarterback, period, much less a championship-level college quarterback. Tennessee has also kind of kept the training wheels on with Nico. I don't think you have to take some shots, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of vertical passing. Going to be cold. Passing game will be short, intermediate routes. Teams will try to win with their running backs. Sound defense, ball control, try to cut the turnovers out. These are 2 of the best defenses in the nation. Ohio State only gives up 10.9 points per game, which leads the nation. Tennessee, 4th in scoring defense, only 14.9 points per game. I think these teams play conservative. It's no black and blue football game. I like under 47 in Columbus on Saturday.
All right, I'm with you on that one. Absolutely. Let's go to Christmas Eve, the Hawaii Bowl. South Florida against San Jose State. It's moved. You grabbed 4.5. Tell us why.
Yeah, I tell you the main reason why, Pauly, is I make numbers on these games. I made South Florida a 2.5-point favorite. I referenced a couple of guys who publicize their power ratings, one of those being Kelly Ford. Kelly has South Florida's power rating 2.5 points higher than San Jose State's, and then looked at Jeff Sagrin. He has South Florida's power rating 3 points higher than San Jose State. So I'm a little bit confused here on San Jose State being favored by 4.5. But one thing that has not been widely reported, South Florida's quarterback from a year ago who missed, he hadn't played since late September, Byram Brown, a dual threat guy, very athletic, threw for almost 3,300 yards last year, rushed for over 800. He's been practicing. All indications are that he's going to start. He is a spark plug. I think he's going to, be a really big plus for the Bulls in this game. I think South Florida is going to, win the ball game. They've only got 3 starters in the portal, so they're not being decimated there. I think they're the better team. I think they should be favored smallish. So I think South Florida wins the game. I like South Florida plus 4.5 over San Jose State.
Great breakdown.
That's awesome.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Navy was awesome in the win against Army. They play Oklahoma Friday, December 27th, taking 7 with Navy.
Yeah, bowl games obviously are a different handicap, and even more so in today's climate of college football with the transfer portal and guys opting out from the NFL draft and so forth. But guys like us who've handicapped college football for a long time, I think we probably share the same belief without even having the numbers right in front of us that service academies perform very well in bowl games, not only outright, but against the spread. So I looked back, did a little query on this starting in 2001, looked at the previous 23 seasons. So I looked, first of all, at all 3 service academies, Air Force, Army, and Navy. How have they done against the spread in bowl games since year 2001? They are collectively 23-10 against the spread in bowl games since 2001. Navy's part in that record, the midshipmen 10-4 against the spread in bowl games. So the service academies, they are disciplined. They're used to getting up early. They're used to the grind. They're used to the regimen. Much less likely to be, caught up in some of the fanfare and the local offerings that a bowl atmosphere might offer. And also, they're usually going to be the underdogs. So they're going to be more excited to play their opponent than their opponent is to play them. I think that's certainly no knock to Navy, but I think certainly they have the motivation edge here. I think Oklahoma, they're a team, looking forward to 2025. They've got a lot of players, got a half a dozen starters, I think, in the portal. Some have already signed on with other teams, got a half a dozen key contributors in the portal. So they have a lot of players in the portal, a little bit of change over there for the Sooners. Navy, their quarterback, Blake Harveth, down the stretch, he was banged up a little bit. But, boy, he sure didn't look banged up against Army on Saturday. I had Army in that game, unfortunately. But the midshipmen, 31-13 over Army last week. Harveth, 25 carries for 204 yards, 2 touchdowns, threw for another 107 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, the guy was at the top of his game. He's going to have 2 weeks to recover his body for the Sooners. He's playing at a high level. This is a gimmicky offense. This is a Navy team that's going to be motivated. I like Navy plus 7. I would get it now because I think it's going to go down even lower. I think Navy might even win the game, maybe sprinkle a little on the money line. But the midshipmen plus 7 over the Sooners in the Armed Forces Bowl on December 27th.
Very good. It's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest is professional sports bettor Paul Stone. He is on the Progressive Guest Line. You're going to go to the game this weekend in Austin, Texas. So that's going to be fun for you as a lifelong Texan, right? Going there, someone who covered the Longhorns for many, many years, turned into a pro sports bettor, but you're going to go there and root for the other team because of your bets.
I do it all the time. It's kind of, I know a lot of people who are in the betting space seem to always back their team, quote unquote, and always seem to make a case. But I look at it kind of from the other perspective, and I always joke, I use my mom as the example in our neighborhood. And I loved my mom, and she's passed away. But if our neighbor, Mrs. Smith, if she was, -2 against Mrs. Stone, and I made the line Mrs. Smith -6, I'm laying the 2 and taking Mrs. Smith. So, I don't know if that resonates with anybody. Hopefully that makes sense. But, I probably lean a little bit, too much. I don't want to look like a homer. But Texas is, their red zone offense, again, concerns me a little bit. I could see them, putting the hurt on Clemson because this is not Dabo's best rendition. They're not like the national championship teams of 6 or 7 years ago, but he still has some elite talent. Sammy Brown, the linebacker, Peter Woods at defensive tackle, and Cade Klubnik, the quarterback for Clemson, actually played at Austin Westlake, about 8 miles from the stadium. And Michael Taft, Texas's safety, they were teammates on an Austin, Texas safety, Michael Taft, Cade Klubnik, Clemson's quarterback, teammates, Austin Westlake, won the 2020 state championship in Texas over Quinn Ewers and South Lake Carroll.
That's awesome. Very good history lesson there. Well, enjoy the game. Good luck with the bets, Paul, and thanks so much for the time today. We appreciate that.
Hey, thanks for having me, everybody. Best of luck during the bowl season.
It's funny you brought that up. My buddy, Kevin, drove me around and showed me the campus of Austin Westlake when my wife and I were there last summer. Looks like a college campus. It's incredible. It would blow you away.
Yeah?
Oh, my God, it's unreal.
I can't believe it starts Friday.
I know.
This is nuts. We finally get it. And we met 2 listeners from Indiana. This is once in a lifetime. Indiana against Notre Dame in a playoff game?
Come on.
I mean, this is, the Fairfield end going for $1,200 a night.
Sure.
You got to swallow. Got to do it. College football playoff starts Friday. Get our college football playoff betting guide. Must-have previews of every first-round matchup, the brackets, all the picks and props. Brent Musburger picks every bowl game. Sign up now, the holiday special. Get your copy of the guide, full VSiN Pro access, everything we do through May 1st, $79. Grab it now, score big, tell your friends, great gift idea. VSiN.com/subscribe. Sign up now. The great holiday special and get the college football playoff betting guide. VSiN.com/subscribe.
Up next, VSiN host Jonathan Von Tobel made it a point to fade this coach before the season started. And let me tell you, it has been a gold mine as of late. Details coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
So we have the NBA Cup finale tonight, a bowl game, and a bunch of teams playing college basketball that are ranked inside the top 25. But I want to bring this to everybody's attention for those who might not be aware of it. And Jonathan Von Tobel made it a point before the season started that he was going to fade Wisconsin Green Bay in college basketball for one reason and one reason only. And that is because Doug Gottlieb is their coach this year. And again, for those of you who may not have heard what's going on, Doug Gottlieb has had a radio show for a long time with Fox Sports Radio. And he's still doing the radio show along with coaching the basketball team during the season. When I first heard the news, I thought to myself, this is the dumbest idea I've potentially ever heard my entire life.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm willing to bet, Wisconsin Green Bay, many, many years ago, they were a force in the tournament. When Tony Bennett played there and when Dick Bennett was a coach, because they would muck it up and they'd play 50 to 48 games. Ask Michigan State, ask others. With Steve Smith and some of those teams, Green Bay was really, really good. They're probably livid at this, that this school allowed this to happen and that Gottlieb is okay with this. Now, they play Michigan Tech tomorrow at noon Eastern. I don't even know that's going to be a board game. If it is, it'll be probably under extra games. Maybe you can find it at some spots. Because I went to go find stuff on Michigan Tech today for an ATS record. I couldn't find anything. Green Bay is 2-10 straight up and 4-8 against the spread. They've also lost 7 straight against the spread, and they're really not even close to covering these numbers. I'm wondering, by the way, as they're getting blown out more and more, do other coaches kind of make it a point, basically, to give him the middle finger and saying, dude, you're insulting us. Pick a street.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, he's wanted, and I'll tell you this, doing local radio here in Las Vegas, this happened many years ago, but there was a job opening. Was it after Dave Rice, maybe? Mm-hmm. Gottlieb came on our show, and he was on for 17, 18 minutes. And I thought it was if that was his interview, and if UNLV heard that, There's no way that they could say, let's not talk to him. I thought he was brilliant with the possible game plan for taking over as a UNLV next head coach. But how can you do this? How can you do a 3-hour radio show?
Isn't he by himself? That's the other thing.
I think
that's you can't balance this.
There's
it's hard to be a head coach in college basketball, and then it's not like you're at Kansas or Duke and you just roll the ball out anyways.
I will point out, too, yeah, you're right.
He's also had a run-in with the star player. He's going to do it our way or he's not going to play. That hasn't gone well. But to think that you're splitting time here with both jobs, it's going to be a disaster. How much you got to focus on your radio show.
Sure.
You got to get ready. Who's on? What am I going to talk about? Oh, breaking news, this happened. And then you got a game that night?
It doesn't make any sense, Paul. It's totally backwards. There's no way this should be allowed. And I will tell you that I think that Doug Gottlieb is obsessed with social media, and I don't know him, and I'm not saying this as an insult. I just think that he has an addiction to social media because he tweets out constantly about everything. And again, many years ago, I'll give you an example. I was calling games for the Mountain West Conference Radio Network. I was doing play-by-play during March Madness out here at the Thomas & Mack in Las Vegas. And he was calling games for another network, and so he was down on Radio Row, like 10 or 15 feet from me. And I would check Twitter at halftime just to see what's going on in other games and getting caught up. And I would notice that he was tweeting out the whole time. And I would look over at him eventually, and I noticed that he's looking down and looking back at the game. He's tweeting out during the game. I'm like, man, that's a bit much. You got to focus here. Mm-hmm. Forget about social media. Who cares?
Yeah.
Put the phone down here.
Yeah. So, I've been trying to tell that to people. That one person we know, it's just like who. You're arguing with someone who doesn't even have a pro. It's an egghead.
Yeah.
What are you doing with your time? He's got 8 followers, and what do you care? It goes back to the whole Kevin Durant thing. You make $50 million a year. You're a great basketball player. You're set for life. Generational wealth. Why do you care what Joe in Omaha thinks?
Right.
That you're making a burner account to argue with people.
Mm-hmm. Craziness, man. So yesterday, Adam Schefter tweeted out this story about Sacramento State and college football. Mm-hmm. And he said that they're in discussions to hire former Pro Bowl quarterback Mike Vick as its new head coach. Sacramento State plans to move up to FBS, is building a new stadium, and has over $50 million in NIL. So Gottlieb quote tweeted that and said, Jesus, Shefty, edit what the agents tell you, 0.0% chance Sac State has $50 million in NIL. Schefter tweeted back at him saying the Sacramento 12 leading the school's NIL efforts already announced it has reached its initial goal of raising $50 million in the funds. Also trying to go to the Pac-12 or Mountain West Conference. And he also added this, and Jesus, Doug, a 7-game losing streak in last place in the Horizon League, less time on social media and more time in the gym. I'd like to buy Adam Schefter a beer for this. That is incredible. I can't believe he did that.
He put the standings up next to it, too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was well played. Yeah.
That's like there's no comeback.
No.
So
I'm not big into college basketball till February, but that observation from Von Tobel from the get-go, and Von Tobel being in the business, but also knowing he's never been a head coach before either.
That's the thing.
It's like it's not.
And Paul, he's wanted to be a head coach forever.
Mm-hmm. He wanted the Oklahoma State job when it was open, his alma mater, yes.
And he finally gets a gig, and he's like, "No, I'm going to keep my radio show anyway." Well, this is probably not going to lead to other gigs down the road.
Yeah. So lost 7 in a row ATS. You mentioned the game that's probably not going to be on the board, but this is a great path here to keep fading them. And maybe if it's not close, you might say, well, the numbers are out of whack. Couldn't put them high enough, whatever. If they're not close to covering numbers,
I know.
Stick on it.
And I'll tell you this flat out. I know nothing about Michigan Tech. That's who they play tomorrow. And if they create a number on the game somewhere and books put it up, I'm not telling you to rush out and bet Michigan Tech because I know nothing about them. But this is something to keep an eye on, maybe beyond this when they're playing other teams. But the blowouts here, not close to covering these spreads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in college basketball tonight, quickly here, St. Bonaventure is in action. See, this is how you do it. Adrian Wojnarowski retired from ESPN, so he could be the GM of St. Bonnie's. He's not doing both jobs. They're in action tonight against Siena. My buddy Jason has season tickets to Siena.
Really?
Yeah, he said he reached out and he said, bet the Bonnies tonight. Siena's not going to be able to score with them. The Bonnies are 10-1 straight up and 9-1 ATS. So what I did is I parlayed the Bonnies on the money line with Memphis in the bowl game tonight, and it was like minus 108. However, it looks like there's money coming in on Siena in this game tonight because the Bonnies were 7, now 6.5. So that's how I'm approaching the board tonight.
I lean K-State tonight. They're playing Drake. Love the Drake. Great story. D2 coach. They're 9-0, but you have to question the competition. I think K-State can get the win and cover tonight as well in a good matchup. And that's down to 1.5. It's come down a little bit. So that's interesting tonight, too, to see this great story with Drake. But I think they suffer their first loss tonight.
Okay. And how do you want to play this NBA Cup finale?
Good write-up today on vsin.com from Zach Cohen. So the 5 NBA Cup games in Las Vegas, all 5 have gone under. The total opened 213.5. It's up to 216. You got the number 1 defense in the league in OKC. Milwaukee is hot. They've won 10 of 12. They're also more, let's get in the half court, and because we know our defense was so bad and our transition D was non-existent. So it's kind of a more grind them out, and it's worked as they're hot and they've turned their season around. I don't agree with the move, and I have the number 1 defensive team, and there's a lot of money on the line here. That's the other thing. This is a big deal tonight. The winning team, each player gets $308,000. The loser gets $208,000. But also, you kind of cringe when you read this, and it puts it in perspective. It's for the other guys. Remember what LeBron said about doing it for the role players and the young guys? That's what Giannis is saying. And Lillard, Middleton, Lopez, SGA make $440,000 a game.
Oh, my God.
But it's a big deal for these guys who are on the minimum contracts who hardly play, because it's baked into, you make this and win this, you get a ton of money. And for them, And what this could mean to a guy who hardly plays, or he's a rookie, and you're walking away with $300,000, $400,000 if you win this game tonight. I couldn't believe when I read that. I'm like, oh my God. But in any event, as far as the game though, but I still have the number 1 defense and a Milwaukee team that has turned it around, kind of slowing things up. And the fact with the history here with Las Vegas that every Cup game has gone under. So I'll go under tonight in the Cup game for the title.
By the way, OKC up to 6 now at some books in this game.
Now, I think they're the best team in the league when they're healthy.
I totally agree.
Because how they guard you, great defensively. They're 17-2 with Chet or Hartenstein in the lineup.
They're super deep. They got a little bit of everything. They are fantastic.
Yep, I teased this yesterday too. Bontemps straw poll will be coming out. I think you want to jump on SGA to win the MVP. I think there's going to be something there where SGA could be the favorite, not Joker. That it might be SGA MVP when he does that first straw poll.
Okay.
Looking for some action? Our friends at First Bet have you covered. Sign up today, unlock exclusive promotions, watch and wager on hundreds of exciting horse races every day across the country and around the world. Sign up firstbet.com, promo code VSIN200. Claim a 20% rebate for your first 60 days up to $200. Firstbet.com today.
Caleb Williams has to put a lot of work in before he's a solid and reliable starting quarterback. Do you concur? Next.
This is Follow the Money on VSIN. Great moments in history have begun with a question.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
And what kind of hair product does Mitch Moss use? But Follow the Money wants to know.
Do you concur? Concur. What, sir? Do you concur?
It was on full display last night. Monday Night Football was not pretty. Pauly, Caleb Williams is far from a reliable and good starting quarterback in this league. Do you concur?
No. With the right coach, he will develop and be a different guy next year.
Is that right coach Mike Vrabel?
Not from that. No. I want to see what they do from the OC perspective, who the coordinator is going to be. I actually agree with Aikman. It has to be an offensive guy. That's who you have to hire. I think he's got a point, especially with Ben Johnson out there. And he wanted the job, and then the Bears continue to screw this up and bring an Eberflus back. But we know the talent's there, but there's too many weapons for it to look like that, and he's too inconsistent. That shouldn't happen.
My concern is when he drops back to pass. I just want to see a normal 5-step drop. or 7.
Yeah, right.
Right?
It's
and
not there.
You got the guy open, boom. Make up your mind, throw it to him, get the rifle first down. It happened.
We saw that, though, in the second half on Thanksgiving. He looked great.
I don't know why it doesn't happen more often.
But,
again, I'm watching film guys last night break this down. They're like, here's Keenan Allen open yet again.
Right.
Williams thinks about it, pulls it back, and says, "No, let me do some ad-libbing here."
Well, because he's, he's a little bit obnoxious. He was confident. I think people are being too hard on him, too. I mean, look at the game Bo Nix just had. He was atrocious.
Yeah.
Daniels has also ruined it, too. Daniels has been so good that it's like, oh, boy, what would you do here, right? But I think the May hype is a little overdone as well. The future's bright, but it's not like he's putting up great numbers either. He doesn't have a lot to work with. Williams has a lot to work with. But remember, Peyton Manning was atrocious his rookie year. All the interceptions, won 3 games.
Yeah, 28 INTs.
Yeah, it's just hire a legit coach and then talk to me next year. But it's got to look better, though. It's so frustrating to watch what you said. It's got to be step back, look, bam, ball's out. That never happens.
I know. They have to work with him big time. There has to be a massive overhaul with how he plays the position, in my opinion. The Falcons must turn to backup quarterback Michael Penix. Do you concur? Yeah,
it's over. I'm going to throw this in my bag, the beautiful chain, Cousins, it's over. It's just it's infuriating to watch. Don't be stubborn. And you're going to lose the locker room too, Raheem Morris. You are hiding him. You can't pay a quarterback all that money with a chance to go to the playoffs. 1 touchdown, 9 interceptions the last 5 games, and you're hiding him. You took the kid in the top 10. I would get him ready. I would start him right now. But at the very least, he needs to be ready to go halftime of the Giants game. If you cannot you cannot run 11 straight times on first down. That means you have no confidence in him, and you're playing not to lose. And guess what? The first time they threw it on first down was the start of the second half, and it was intercepted.
Yep.
He's late on every throw. He's not confident. He's unsure of himself.
He has zero mobility. And, the body language tells you all you need to know about the guy.
That's right.
He knows that he's not the same guy that he once was.
Yeah. He also knows he's killing the guys in the locker room because of the weapons. He's holding them back. You can't run for almost 200 yards, and you can't do anything offensively other than the touchdown to London.
I remember what Michael Penix looked like last year with Washington.
Oh.
It was pretty good. By the way, it was the exact opposite of what we're watching right now with Kirk Cousins. That guy likes to let that thing fly, and he's not afraid to take chances. It would maybe it's a B12 shot if they put him in.
I think that will happen. At least you'll just see, get rid of it quick. Bubble screens, whatever. Get these guys in space, dump stuff off the pit, something.
Yeah. The bad teams in the NFL are worse than the best teams are good, if that makes sense. Do you concur?
No. I think...
Oh, there's a lot of bad.
There are. You really think so? I think Tennessee's okay with Rudolph. Cleveland is beat Baltimore. Cleveland beat Pittsburgh. The Raiders are a joke.
The Raiders
that's
are
the coaching staff.
They're a disaster.
Yeah.
The Bears.
But the Raiders just had Kansas City on the ropes, though. With O'Connell,
there's a lot of the Giants are awful. Jacksonville, terrible. What we watched last night with the Raiders, stink bomb. Bears are just as bad. I mean, the list of teams. I think Cleveland is a disaster in my opinion. There are so many teams. I think there's the closer we get to the playoffs, the more I'm convinced that we only have 5 or maybe 6 really good teams. All the signs are there with this in mind. The Chiefs are not three-peating this year. Do you concur?
Oh, God. You're right, but betting against this guy, you look like a fool. I mean, I do agree with what Fitzpatrick said. It's reminiscent of what happened with Philly. Smoke and mirrors, they started 10-1, but okay, you might say, well, they won 21-7. They were +6 in the turnover battle on Sunday. You're killing me. I can't bet against this guy in a big game. Fugate, no.
You don't concur?
I don't concur. I can't bet against this guy in a big game. No matter how it looks. And we just did this last year. How bad were they? They lost on Christmas to the Raiders. They had 2 defensive touchdowns.
I know.
Yeah, here come the playoffs. Oh, Baltimore loses their mind. Bills lose a big game. What new? Didn't need home field. Win the whole damn thing because you have the best player.
I cannot wait until this team finishes 16-1 and nobody picks them to win the AFC.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Right. Baltimore coming to town.
Buffalo.
Right off. Absolutely.
Doesn't matter.
Absolutely. Well, these are tough ones today.
Moving first-round college football playoff games from home sites to indoor neutral field games cannot happen. Do you concur?
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
You're not going to like.
keep this.
You're not going to like what I'm about to tell you.
I don't think that's real. But you have to. I would like to see the first 2 rounds on campus sites, and I want to see what they do and tinker with the format because Oregon didn't get. There was no benefit for Oregon to get the 1 seed and go undefeated. No benefit. They'd be a 2-point favorite in the Rose Bowl against Ohio State. I mean, they didn't even get a home game.
Okay, so here is a tweet from college football nerds. They tweeted out, I truly did not see this coming. So many empty seats for the first home playoff games and cheap tickets. And they did like a screen grab, right, of what it looks like on StubHub or these other secondary ticket sites, marketplaces, and all the empty tickets or empty seats that are still available. Clemson at Texas, get-in price 108. Tennessee, Ohio State 129. SMU, Penn State, you can go to the game for $60.
I don't believe that.
The Notre Dame game is $390.
No, the get-in price was $1,200.
Oh, this is this updated?
Why would it change?
Also,
that was the hottest ticket. That was the average ticket. I thought the get-in price was $1,000 for the Notre Dame game. That's where the Fairfield End, whatever, they were going for $1,200 a night.
They also pointed out, I wonder if games so close to Christmas was an overlooked issue, and also students are gone on winter break. And Derek Stevens came in and told us this before the college football season, I think, even started. He's like, that there are already talks that these first-round games could move to like neutral site games.
Well, okay, here's where your problem is. I don't have an unlimited budget for travel as a fan.
Right.
I might have to go to 3 more games, so I have to weigh it out. That's why no one was going to the conference title games.
And then how do you pick and choose?
Yeah.
Like, so if you're Indiana, right?
How many times am I going to spend $2,000 a ticket with hotel or whatever?
But how many times as an Indiana fan are you going to be in this spot?
That's true.
We met 2 Indiana fans last night here at Circa. Thank you guys for listening to the show on a daily basis. They're out here in Las Vegas right now. They're like, this is no chance that this was ever going to happen. Nobody saw this coming. How could you, right? So how do you pass up paying this much money to go see the Notre Dame game? But then what if they win? And then you're like, well, I saw them once. I guess that's good enough. I'm not going to keep doing this journey along with them.
It's a conundrum for the fans. All right, you go to the home game, but then what? Then Notre Dame plays Georgia. Well, what if they win? Then it's like, that's what Oregon fans will. I'm going to go to Indianapolis to watch the Penn State game. And then, but what if I make it then I go to the Rose Bowl, right? No.
Yeah. Last one, I'll throw this at you. Breaking news, the Yankees traded for Cody Bellinger. They're actually better off right now than if they would have re-signed Juan Soto.
If more moves come, yes. Concur, yes.
Yep. Next up, according to reports, baseball people, Christian Walker possibly, and other guys to play first base. So they've already landed Max Fried, traded for Devin Williams, traded for Cody Bellinger. And if they were to land Christian Walker, oh my God, that offseason would blow away re-signing Juan Soto for $765 million.
I agree. Yep. Good moves.
Tremendous so far.
Right. If he can get Judge to pull his head out of his ass in October.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
Okay, but then you're fine.
I think it was Bob Nightingale who tweeted out, they're already a better baseball team today than they were last year. Maybe.
Yeah.
If they land Christian Walker, I mean, this team has suddenly turned into, they're right there against the Dodgers.
How about the Mets moves? You get Holmes, he's going to be a starter, and you grab Soto, and you almost won the World Series last year too.
Yeah,
And right. I'm sure Cohen's going to make some other moves.
All right, up next, we will recap what we watched last night and how upcoming numbers have moved as a result. It's Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Some reaction talking about first-round playoff games in college football coming up this weekend. This is from Chris, who lives in South Carolina, diehard Clemson fan. He's not going to go to Texas Saturday, knowing that if they win, they play in Atlanta in their next game. So you do have to plan accordingly here. What did our buddy doctor tell us during the break? Who went to Indiana?
Yep, my doctor fixed my neck pain. He's incredible. Dr. Gebhard. He went to Indiana. I bought 4 tickets on the 40-yard line for $1,200 each. They're now down to $900 to $1,000. But this always happens. Ticket prices drop the last 3 or 4 days, and especially even the day of the game. He wouldn't miss this. Again, it's once in a lifetime.
Right.
It's not only your school's in the playoff, but it's also you got a decent, well, for people there, but the drive and battle of Indiana and Notre Dame against Indiana here. So that's a big reason why those tickets are priced so high. But you also have the issue where Texas beats Clemson. Then you got the Atlanta game, and then you could play in Dallas after that. And then you got the title game, which I think I did it backwards, but how that would go too. So that's he's in for $1,200 a pop on a 40-yard line, 4 tickets.
Yeah. Others are checking some of these games. Penn State as low as $57, but this is from Chris, who's a Penn State fan, that said Penn State just released the prices for general parking, $106, and that's for parking in a snowy cow pasture. $106 for parking. Okay. Isn't that fun? Yeah. That started many years ago, by the way, with some of these NFL sites. Mm-hmm. Want to come to the game tonight? It's Thursday night. We're playing at 5:20. Tough to get here in Seattle or San Francisco. $150 for parking.
Well, sure. we're all, it's extortion. We're all doing this together, though. You know, we've never done this before. They're going to make changes, and we're going to see what's going to happen. You know, people are furious at Arizona State and Boise getting the buys. People don't like maybe expand what they're going to do there. People don't like what happened to Oregon. And then we'll see what they do with the first round. And then maybe there's something, too, about, well, certainly they should get rid of championship games, too, conference title games as well. But changes are coming, and then we're all going to learn from this and make changes accordingly.
Yeah. 2026, the first time we're going to go from 12 to 14 teams?
If the SEC gets their way, probably.
Yeah, I think I'd bet on that, actually. They'll expand again within 2 years. Maybe next year. But I don't see it going past 2 years from now where that tournament is still only 12 teams. And they'll make it a little bit bigger than that. You're right. I mean, the conference title games, by the way, they're still college kids we're talking about in theory. That has changed now with the NIL. But some of these teams are going to be playing, 17 games? Touch high?
No kidding. And you also have to change the calendar. You can't have kids leaving before a playoff game and going in the portal.
That's right.
I mean, that's
insanity. There is a way for that because the conference title games are held that first weekend in December. Just get rid of those, have that be the bye week, and then if my math is right on this, if they played the following week, would kids still be there? Right? Because it was exam week last week, right? So kids would still be in school, and it wouldn't be a problem then. So, observations from last night in Monday Night Football. I don't know which team is the worst team in the NFL, but the Raiders made a strong case last night for it.
Well, with Ritter, and that game plan, certainly.
They have trailed. I did not realize this, but they have trailed by double digits in every single game this year. They also did not target a wide receiver until the third quarter. They did not complete a pass to a wide receiver until the fourth quarter. And then everything else that went wrong from Abdullah, right? The fair catch inside the 3-yard line, and then the play calling right after that, back-to-back run plays up the gut out of shotgun. What do you think happened? You guessed it, safety. It's just like
on a platter.
2 block punts. And then, oh, by the way, for like the cover that everybody would have had if you were on the Raiders last night, nope, extra point, blocked. I will point out, to have their back for a second, that was a really bad roughing the passer call.
Yes, it was. Allowed them to take more time off the clock.
That's right.
Yep. It could have ended the game.
But then, they finally get the ball back because the Falcons weren't going to do anything with it because Cousins is not a threat to throw the ball whatsoever. They get the ball back. They're trying to drive to come down and take the lead and maybe miraculously steal this win. They're at their own 39 with 35 seconds left. It's a 4th and 3.
Yep. Nobody
on the entire team, coaching staff, players, had any idea what they were doing. And I think that Ritter was trying to snap the ball like 5 seconds after it went to 0. And they pan over to Antonio Pierce and he just kind of shakes his head.
Right.
It's like, that's on you, pal.
I know. How about the play call? Then he throws a 1-yard pass on 4th and 8. But they couldn't wrap up.
And he picks it up.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So if you're trying to lose, though, that's okay. I don't have a problem with it. And if you go back on the website and listen on the podcast, Adam Hill was so good on the pregame about, like, you can't be in this situation every year. You need a quarterback. You can't just go retread. Band-Aid, Minshew, Garoppolo, O'Connell. You're going to suck every year. Mm-hmm. Lose, get at one of these quarterbacks. Or, because you blew it last year, you could have had one of these guys, but you won meaningless games, and then you didn't have your opportunity. No one would play ball with you, and you couldn't move up. So now, what are you going to do now? Because now you play Jacksonville Sunday, and now you see O'Connell might play. So typical Raiders, they're favored. They'll win the game, and then it's bye-bye. You won't get you could blow the top 3, top 4 pick. Yeah, Giants, 37% chance to get the number 1 pick. Patriots, 23%. Carolina, 13%. Las Vegas, 13%. They have a 64% chance to get a top 5 pick, and you got the pick'em game against Jacksonville coming up. It's just, you're in this situation all the time. Can you get it right? Like you blew it last year? Well, we're not going to name him the coach. We're going to see if you win games for him and he can earn it, because that's who the players want. Then they went out and they played hard for him, won games. That was a mistake. Pierce gets the job. He has no idea what he's doing. And now here it's, well, we'll see if we're going to bring you back or not. We'll see. So Pierce is trying to win games, the under contract business, but also he's trying to save his job. And so they don't promise him you're coming back and just tank.
This was like Lovie Smith with Houston a couple of years ago.
That's right. Good point.
He wanted to save his job, and they never told him what they were going to do. So he wanted to win as many games as possible. And guess what happened? They won miraculously final week of the season, and they lost out on their number 1 pick, which, by the way, has worked out to this point anyway, did last year, because then Carolina took Bryce Young, and they actually took C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, it's about the power and also hand. You need hand and the leverage. Whether or not you're going to take the quarterback or it's the right, you just have that position where people lose their minds every year, and they're going to offer you a ridiculous amount of picks, maybe players. Look what happened to the Bears.
What do you make of this? I drummed up this trade offer over the weekend. I don't think the Niners are going to pay Brock Purdy $50 million. Mm-hmm. So as of right now, they're picking around 15th in the draft. What if they lose a couple more games and they're picking like around 12? Whatever. Raiders get the number 1 overall pick. The 49ers offer Brock Purdy their first-round pick and whatever else that might take to move up to number 1. They then take Travis Hunter and sign Sam Darnold to come back to the Bay Area. And the championship window is still open for the 49ers.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah.
And then would the Raiders say no to that?
Yeah.
Because,
you saw the signs in the stadium, tank for Sanders.
Oh, I know.
I mean, you saw.
But I will tell you, this might sound silly to some of you. Brock Purdy might be better than any of these guys coming out of college. We don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yep. So as much as you hear this, the Giants aren't going to take Sanders. They'll go in a different direction, whatever they're going to do. It's just, will he force his way here? Maybe that'll be done too. But it just seems he's coming to town all the time. He always tweets after every loss. Puts it on Instagram. It just seems it's a foregone conclusion that Sanders is going to be a Raider.
By the way, this morning Jacksonville was favored by 1.5. But you said this, it flipped.
Right.
The news because of O'Connell.
Yeah, it's just, you're not going to win if you put Ritter in there.
No.
And you run that Mickey Mouse offense, and you're not going to even try.
Boy, who's worse, Desmond Ritter or Sam Howell? That is I don't even want to contemplate it more than 2 seconds. Atlanta's 10 against the Giants. You said this earlier.
It's outrageous.
You wouldn't take him in Survivor.
No, you can't. He was that bad. They're not even trying to throw the ball.
There's no threat there.
No.
Drake, let's be honest. Drake London was open by 10 yards?
Right. It was a great route. But it's just, they can't do it. And then O'Connell now, as a result of the big win, minus 110 to win Coach of the Year here at Circa. All right, Road to Jan Sanity contest. Free to play. Grand prize, $5,000 to the winner. Pick games against the spread before each round. You'll end up making 11 picks. Each game weighted differently by VSiN to add to the challenge. Read the contest rules. Register VSiN.com/JanSanity. Deadline's Thursday. $5,000 on the line. We actually found a VSiN host to our first contest back in 2017. Get the college football playoff betting guide while you're at it and read it. $5,000. Pick the games against the spread every round. VSiN.com/JanSanity. Rules, register, do it now. Last day, Thursday. Good luck, everyone.
It's a great contest.
It's awesome.
There's no reason why you don't want to sign up, and tell everybody that you know about it as well. It's really, really, really cool. Up next, we will discuss Super Bowl exactas, all things considered. There are some very juicy numbers on the board to this point. We'll run them down for you next here on VSiN.